All right, guys, you seen in the last video, the boys from Work Brow were here. We got the bucket, coupler, thumb, everything's installed. Hyundai guys are still here, and we're gonna get some 2D machine guidance?
Yes, machine guide.
All right, I got it. Not machine control, machine guidance, right? I'm learning new terminology. I'm gonna get this, Mike.
You got it, brother.
All right, we got Mike Fuller, SC. These two are the industry leading experts from Hyundai. Why are you being all official over there?
Industry leading. Middle of the road.
All right, so give us 2D machine guidance. Give us a quick little rundown on what we got, what we're gonna do, what to expect.
So with 2D, we can check our depth and our slope. And what SC's doing with the installation right now is he's sizing up for the bucket sensor, the arm sensor, boom sensor, and there'll be one that goes on the body to give a reference point of the body. And two ways we can achieve that reference point is by a laser sender or by our system itself, which allows you to set a reference point.
Right, so basically correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if I say something wrong, please let me know. But basically by putting a sensor here on the bucket, a sensor somewhere here, on what I call the stick, the boom in the house, this machine at all times will kind of know where it's at.
Yes, sir.
So then if you set a reference point, where that reference point being you tap this bucket on a stake on the job site, or you swing the boom through a laser and it uses that laser as that, it can basically, from there, you can program in a depth or you can program in a slope.
That's correct.
Well, that's so simple, I figured it out.
I know.
All right, so what are you guys waiting on? Let's get this done.
Do it.
Okay.
All right, so this is the beginning. I better not touch that, it may fall off. We just got a double sticky taped on there to make sure we got everything we want before we actually tackle it off. But this is the brains. These are the sensors. We'll have one here. Got the second one here, and then we're heading on up to the boom. So the third one, which will be up there, right there. It's right, it's in the spotlight. There we go, right there. And then I believe we're gonna have one right here. So we're, I like the way this wiring's working out because it's just kind of a pass-through, so very nice. All right, so SC and John have went through and got all these brackets precision placed, and they've actually got them stuck on there with some double sticky tape, which is holding them in place. So according to the instructions, we now need to weld them on there permanently. So we're gonna go in here, and it says run 4 to 6 tacks, and we weld them right there on the inside. Should still give us a nice appearance on the outside, like we haven't really done a whole lot. So Aaron's not here, so they're gonna have to make do with me as the welder. So we're gonna weld one. We got 4 of them?
Yes.
4 of them? All right, here we go.
Ground light. Yeah, working on camera.
What is that? He is a pretty good actor. He's trying to work. Look at that.
You better get this on film.
Ed's going to town over here. These, are you working or are you modeling?
Do a little bit of
A little bit of both?
Got a little Richard Gere and himself. Whatever's needed. I feel like Pretty Woman when we go around doing trainings together.
All right, so I got all of our brackets welded on. That one there, we had some issues with some double sticky tape. So we'll show you this one because it's actually pretty. That one turned out nice.
I knew what he was doing on that one.
Yep, we got one up on the boom, one up underneath the cab. So now we're going with, is this, would you call this final mount or finish mount?
Yes, the final process.
Oh, that means we're getting
Final
closer.
countdown, baby.
We're getting closer.
Final countdown, good song.
So, if I understand this correctly, the sensor gets bolted on, the cover goes over the sensor, right?
Yep.
And then the hose, protective hose.
Yeah, protective hose right here, buddy.
Oh yes, protective hose goes over the wires. So
Actually, let me go get, I'm gonna go get the Allen right.
this might just be cleaning proof by the time we're done.
Yeah. We'll just come here and play this.
All right, bucket sensor number 1's on, cover guards on, nice protective hose there.
All sensors have an arrow on. The arrow needs to be pointing towards the bucket.
So all
Down.
arrows towards
Yep.
the bucket.
Yep, so as you go up down the sensors, they all have like this arrow right here.
Yep.
So that has to be pointing towards the bucket.
So this one here, that's considered the stick cylinder, stick sensor.
Sensor, yep, stick sensor.
Next will
bucket
be-
sensor,
Then we'll have boom,
and body sensor.
boom and body.
Yep.
So we're, if there's 4 sensors and 2 of them are on, we're halfway done.
Yep.
I excelled in
Gotta
math.
Calibrate it. So calibrate it and find them. Actually, he's already found them, but we're gonna calibrate them.
We'll be digging like professionals in no
We
time.
got the superior welding on the brackets. It's great.
Just had to pick on me, didn't you?
I wasn't picking on it. I was just saying.
All right, we have got, whenever I say we, these guys have got all the sensors installed. So we're gonna back this thing out of the shop and basically do a calibration on it to kind of get everything zeroed out so everybody knows where they're at and we'll have a happy life. So let's back this jewel up, see what we got. All right, see if I can explain this properly. So we got the center of this pin marked. We got a string running back to the main boom pin back there. We got a level on our string. This is kind of the crude way here, but basically the machine has to know where it's at. So we're telling the machine right now that that boom pin, or that stick pin, and that boom pin are level with each other. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, nailed it. Passed my first exam, man. So, SC's up there. He's basically programming all that information in the computer. So from what I understand, this is part of the initial setup. Once this initial setup is done, basically we'll just have to tell the machine the dimensions of the bucket we're using, and we should be able to go from there. So the program, the computer part, that's for the install guys. It's a little bit over my head, so I don't know if I'm gonna cover that all that well, but I don't think it's overly complicated. So step by step, we're knocking her out. All right, step 1, boom pin, stick pin. Step 2, stick pin, bucket pin. So we got the horizontal line, and now we got the plumb line down. String is hanging directly through the center there. So SC's getting that programmed in. I think we'll have her. You qualified to operate that string?
I don't know, buddy.
That's a great vote of confidence right there. So this is the last boom calibration. This is the bucket calibration, correct? So we need to make sure this pin and this pin is centered.
Yep.
And he's telling the computer.
Yeah, he's in the computer.
We are
right
there. It's almost too simple. So we got all the sensors on the machine pretty much calibrated, and now we need to let the machine know what the dimensions of the bucket are. I think we can save up to 10 different buckets on there. So this one's going to be the WB42. So basically what he's going to do is curl the bucket in to the bucket tooth, touches our string line right there, which will be in line with our main pin. That'll let the machine know what that dimension is, so it can basically calibrate and base everything off that.
A little bit more.
His plumb bob's not hanging perfectly plumb. He's got a string tied off to the side.
Keep going. A little bit more. You get square.
It's close.
A little bit more, tiny bit. That's good.
That's pretty close right there.
That's good.
So is my teeth weird? Do I have to recalibrate this?
That's a good point. SC?
Yeah.
So as his teeth wear, does he have to recalibrate this?
Yes.
Yes? All right. Well, that's good to know. It's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Same tooth, no need.
So basically we're getting, now that we got that plumbing in line, he's pulling that dimension from the center of that pin to the tip of that tooth right there. And that is actually the measurement we're gonna pop into the monitor. All right, I'm getting excited. We officially got everything calibrated. We got our bucket programmed in. I got a basic crash course of how everything works. It's definitely a very basic system, but I think it's gonna be a very efficient system for what we do. So we're gonna walk down over the hill here and dig a little dirt, play around a little bit, and see how she works. All right, let me see if I can explain this the best I can. So this is a 2D system, so this system basically has to have a reference to know where it's at. So there's a couple different ways to do it. One is we can set our bucket teeth on a known point, which is what we're doing there, and we can set that as a reference. So basically that will be set out as 0 right there. So now that we have that known reference, as long as we don't track this machine, I should be able to send over there and basically dig a spot using this screen, the exact same depth of what that is right there. So I'll let you guys ride along right here. You can kind of watch the screen a little bit. As I raise up, you can see that number changes. We're gonna come over here, go down. We'll take an initial pass off, a little bit above grade. It's kind of hard to dig while you're holding the camera. Dump that over here. Come back over again, and we'll try to get this one here right down on grade. You guys can also see that line kind of chases my bucket, and that center tooth is what it's actually measuring off of. So, if everything is calibrated right, everything is good, this hole right here, right there, and this hole right here should be basically the same exact elevation. Does that make sense? Clear as mud, right? The moment of truth, you ready?
No.
The laser don't lie. All right, we got our stick set to grade right there. You guys hear the solid beep. Let's go over to the other hole and see how accurate we are. Let's just go generically right here. Tip of the teeth where it should be the most accurate. That's pretty close. Let's see here. That is just barely touching the top of the fluff. I'd give that a 1/4 inch. What do you guys think?
1/4 inch.
It's pretty close. It's pretty good, buddy. I think you got her. All right, guys, just been kind of playing around with this a little bit here. You're gonna have to bear with me because I'm in full learning mode, and this is kind of even new to Hyundai, so we're just kind of working out some bugs and getting it going. But this is one feature I'm really excited about, especially with all the field tile and drainage work we do. So basically what I'm gonna do is we're gonna zero this out right here, and this is going to allow me to go in here and program a slope. So this would be a good example of running these field tiles for long distances. We can program whatever slope we figure out what we need with our laser. So I've actually went ahead and typed it in. We're gonna go with 3.0%. Hit OK on that. Setting is complete. So basically as I dig and come back to me now, it should make the bottom of that trench 3.0%. So let's see if I can dig and show you guys here at the same time. I've already got the bottom of this pretty close, so I'm just going to kind of scratch along here. And the way this works, without using the laser, you got to see how it's doing its thing there. So we got that one in grade. So at this point, I'm going to back up a little bit. Now I basically have two options in the future. One is I can slide through the laser. There's a laser catcher out there on the boom, and it'll use that as a reference, which would be this button here. Or I can also stick out here to my last known point. So let's say right there is my last known point. This number may be different because I moved the machine, but I can re-zero it re-zero it and go again. So hopefully you guys can see the boom and the bucket out there. Come on back, right there on grade. Nicely done. Got a little bit high right there at the end. So if that all worked out. So one thing to stress here a little bit is this is a machine guidance, which is what the MG stands for, machine guidance, not machine control. This setup is a very basic, elementary, entry-level guy, but it's also very, very affordable. So basically it gives me references, it gives me information to guide the machine. I, as the operator, still have to put all the inputs in and make the bucket do what it needs to do. A machine control, which would be like getting into the 3D world, it'll actually control my machine. So if I go down to depth, it'll keep me from going too deep and bring me on back. So hopefully that makes sense, a little bit of the explanation between machine guidance and machine control. What we got here is machine guidance. It's basically giving me information to guide the machine. It's not controlling the machine. So with all that being said, let's go put 3% slope in that laser. We should be able to double check the bottom of the hole, and if everything is working properly, we will be dead nuts. All right, so I got 3 degrees of slope programmed into the laser, so exaggeration, but it's going like that, which means our hole should also be following it. If that machine and that laser agree with each other, this thing should go beepity beepity beep. So dead nuts right there. Come on down. Maybe a quarter off right there. Pretty close. Where are we at? Right there, you see it? That's about as good as the operator gets. It's a little bit off, but I'm not gonna blame that on the machine. I think that's the actual operator itself. So I hate to jinx it, boys, but I think this thing's almost job site ready. Man, this could possibly be a huge time saver on some of these long runs with tight tolerances on slope. All right, guys, so like I said before, we are comfortable enough with this machine. I think we're actually gonna haul it out to a job site and give it a try in real life and see how it goes. Couple things, kind of my thoughts real quick. You know, I've always wanted to do some GPS stuff or some machine guidance or machine control stuff. But in my situation as a small excavating company, it's hard to justify the cost. It's a big initial cost right off the bat. Like I said before, this system here may kind of be the answer for guys like me, because it's very basic, but it's also very affordable. And if you have a little bit of skill at all as an operator, it's definitely going to improve your efficiency on a job site. So I'm curious to get it into some real life situations and see how it actually works and how much time it actually saves us, how much it improves our accuracy and all that good stuff. But you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for that. I'm going to get this hole filled back in, our test hole here in my front yard. We're gonna load this thing up on a lowboy trailer and we're gonna haul it out to a job site tomorrow and see what actually happens. Man, this is my first time actually moving dirt with this machine so far, and I'll have to admit, it's pretty smooth. I think I'm gonna like it. Real quick in closing, guys, Future Mike just wants to interrupt here real quick and hit on a few things we kind of forgot to mention here in the video. It was a little bit of a hectic day, but other companies, other manufacturers have been in the machine guidance, machine control space for a while, whether they're doing it themselves and integrating it into their own equipment or partner with other companies to make that happen. And Hyundai admittedly is a little bit behind in that space, and this is their first attempt or their first swipe at kind of heading in that direction. At the time of filming this, I would technically call this a prototype. This is the first one that's been installed in a machine in the States, and overall pretty doggone impressed with the way it works. But with that being said, after using it on the job, you guys will see it in some upcoming videos here, it's not perfect. Part of it is me needing to learn the system a little bit. I also personally think the system just needs a few little tweaks, and eventually this will go from machine guidance to machine controls. It's kind of one of those one step at a time, but there is a lot of things that I absolutely love about this system. The user friendliness of it, the way it's integrated. It's very simple, it's very basic, and I think Hyundai's goal is to keep this thing extremely affordable, which I think holds a lot of people back from pulling the trigger on it. So I don't want to leave you kind of stranded here a little bit or leave you on a cliff edge, but I want you guys to stay tuned because we do use this quite a bit throughout the next couple videos, and as we progress on, you'll kind of see how it performs in real life situations and different scenarios. So stay tuned, guys, more to come, I promise. So let me know what machine guidance or machine control system you guys are using, if you like them, what tricks you've learned over the years, what I need to be looking out for, all that good stuff. Comment down below, let me know. If you guys like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on what happens on the job site, I consider subscribing. That way we can catch you guys on the next one. Later.